Good evening, world. Welcome to your Thursday evening stroll around your celestial neighborhood. I'm Irene Pease, your friendly neighborhood astronomer, here to check out some night skies and more Mars, because we just can't get enough. I'm kind of taking it easy this week. This is super casual. This month is super duper Marsy, this week in particular, apparently. But we're just going to be relaxing, kind of hiking, kind of meandering around Mars because we can. Um, this is one of the things I like to do just to relax, and really, this whole series is kind of just for me to relax. So I'm just going to be totally selfish and just meander around Mars, but I'm going to take you with me. So hopefully, you enjoy some of the views because, frankly, it's gorgeous. As usual, we have Stellarium that we'll be using, checking out the night skies in just a moment. Stellarium, you can find at stellarium.org. And in the background right now, you see open space. So we'll be open spacing around Mars. All kinds of fabulous, fabulous high rise maps for you to explore on your own. Certainly don't have time to do them all tonight, but we'll do just a couple highlights. So I think I promise might be a strong word. I think I mentioned dunes and mountains and canyons. So we're going to try and hit all three of those with our More Mars episode. Oh, yeah, looking forward. So let's pop on over to Stellarium and see what's in that night sky. Yup, night sky. There's some stars out, and they're in the sky. And yeah. So, continuing with our kind of winter constellation theme, shout out to Mars because we're headed there later. I was having like serious debates with myself about, there's so many different constellations that could be, along tonight's theme, and I eventually settled on Gemini. I think I crossed down like three other things. I was like, this one, no, that one, no, Gemini. Okay, so Gemini, I'm going to be like, yeah, Mars is like our twin planet, but like our other twin planet. Anyway, whatever. So back to Orion or the reindeer or the whatever, the thing with the belt and the rectangle around it. If you go from the bright star, the bright foot star Rigel, perpendicular to the belt, and then through the bright armpit Betelgeuse, and about twice that distance, you come to this other lovely pair of stars up here. Those are Castor and Pollux. Pollux on the east side, Castor on the west. So those are the twins. Kind of twin stars. They're not the exact same brightness, and even here you can see there should be a little bit of difference in coloring. So one of the cool things Stellarium does is it makes the label a slightly exaggerated version of the star color. So Pollux would have a slightly more yellow-white hue, Castor slightly bluer, and I believe Castor is actually a double star. I forgot. One of them's a really cool double star. But yeah, so those are kind of the heads of the twins of Gemini. Some imagination required. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us to a little bit later in the evening so they're not like on their side so much. And make them a little more upright. So there's like, this is a head and this is a head, and there's a stick figure and a foot, and then another stick figure and a more crooked foot. So I don't know, that's how I see Gemini. So you just kind of trace them back towards Orion, from their heads back towards Orion, and that's kind of where they are. The Stellarium pretty picture. There's our pretty Stellarium picture. A little more than a stick figure there, but you get the idea. And a shooting star. How lovely is that? So that's great if you can find that extra constellation. It's a big one. And again, Pollux and Castor are relatively bright up there. So if you can pick out, Betelgeuse and Sirius and Procyon, if you try going like above the Procyon Betelgeuse line, instead of going down to Sirius, go back up towards Castor and Pollux. Those are the heads. And then again, these stars that form the body and the feet are a little bit fainter. But even in Brooklyn, like I say, if you can see it from Brooklyn, you can see it from anywhere. So we can see these stars up here, definitely, even in super duper beautiful bright Brooklyn. If you have binoculars, you'll notice the Milky Way is streaking through here, so you can probably guess what I might suggest looking for. Yes, there are star clusters to be seen in there. One in particular that's nice and bright and really stands out, especially in binoculars. M35, I didn't really know it was called the shoe buckle cluster, so thanks for that, Stellarium. But it is a bright, nice bright cluster in a really dark sky. You might even notice it like naked eye as a little smudge, but definitely pops out in binoculars. So with a little help, or even in a telescope. I don't know if it's called a shoe buckle because it's like supposed to be on the shoe of one of the twins, of the West twin, the Castor twin. I don't know. Imagination required. The other super fun thing, one of my favorite things to look for in the constellation with a telescope, is kind of off like the midsection of the Eastern twin, the Pollux twin. If we zoom in there, there's a really neat nebula, NGC 2392. So 2392, it's a planetary nebula. So that's like the leftovers from a smaller medium-sized star. We don't call it that anymore. Some people call it the clown face nebula, or just, 2392. And if we zoom in here, it's kind of neat. Like I may have mentioned a similar planetary nebula that's out in the summer in Cygnus that we actually call the Blinking Nebula because it kind of blinks. So it has kind of the nebulosity is at, let me turn this off. Yeah, that doesn't help. So the nebula around there is relatively bright, but then there's a kind of bright star in the center. Not all planetary nebula have bright enough stellar centers that you can see them, with just a medium-sized telescope. But like the Blinking Nebula does, this one, 2392, does. And so the brightness of the nebula actually fades away a bit if you look directly at the central star. And then if you look away, using a trick that we amateur astronomers like to call averted vision, actually, I think it might be this star right here. If you just look up and focus on this star, then the nebulosity pops out because you're using your peripheral vision more to see it. So this Blinking Nebula in Cygnus does a similar thing. So this is kind of like our winter version of the Blinking Nebula. The NGC 2392, the Clown Face Nebula up in the constellation Gemini. And it's actually relatively easy to find in a telescope if you can find like this little triangle here. Anyway, a nice challenge if you have a telescope. With binoculars, definitely try and look for that star cluster, the shoe buckle cluster, just even scanning, this part of the Milky Way, see what fuzzy spots you pick out. And naked eye, again, trying to find those stars, Castor and Pollux, the twins of Gemini. So that's what we have for this week. Another winter constellation down. Check that off your list. Very exciting. And next up, we're going to get to the Mars. More Mars. So let's pop back over to the open space where we're in space. And it's open. Yeah, so not so much Earth. Earth is beautiful. Like I'm not trying to bash Earth at all tonight. It's just that Mars, like there's just so much beauty. And I just find myself kind of gushing over it. So that's kind of just what we're going to be doing tonight. Just kind of crushing on Mars, going, wow, that's really pretty. Wow, that's really pretty. Okay, so that's probably all I'm going to say for the next 20 minutes. So, yeah. All right, so here's Mars. The Mars. Some features you might notice. I think I was going to come in and I think I was going to actually turn on one of these other Mars maps to kick us off. So you've seen this map of Mars, but to help me find one of our first locations, I'm going to try one of our other maps. That might be the totally wrong map. I think this is the totally right map. Yeah, that's the totally right map. More of an elevation map, one of the MOLA maps. So yeah, so this definitely yeah, shows like all the lovely elevation that we have. So we're gonna visit the crevice later, the big crevice across Mars. But to start off, I wanted to come over here. It's just easier to find using this. Pretty sure that's the one. So we're actually kind of close to where Curiosity is. So Curiosity, I'm pretty sure this is Gale Crater. Actually, you know what? Let me just double check that because now I'm having doubts. Yep, nope, yep, nope. Yeah, okay, no, that was totally not it. We want to be over here. Oh yeah, this is much better. Okay. So just a heads up, I know Mars has some more some more company. S'more company. So landing next week over here, landing in May, somewhere in here, and orbiting 3 new friends. New friends. Okay, so over here, this one, you can see how I was confused. They look alike. All right, so here's Gale Crater, where Curiosity is currently being curious. And then a little bit south of that, we're headed for this crater here. This is Herschel Basin, Herschel Blast Zone. I don't know, whatever. It's Herschel on Mars. And so I'm going to turn off our elevation map, which is really pretty, but you know, another time, and try to start loading in some of our super duper high res bits. And I'll go ahead and turn the time a little bit so we can have, yeah, so we can have it fully lit and daytime over here. Here comes the sun. That's time running backwards. Okay. So some of the fun things, just some of the fun things you can do in open space. You can move through space and time, which is great. So Gale, you can tell Gale's got, oh gosh, yeah, we did Gale a few weeks ago with all the robots on Mars. But Herschel hasn't been landed in, but it's been imaged because there are now 8 things orbiting Mars, creeping on it, spying on it. That's all. It's all good. It's okay. We're all friends here. But Herschel has some really beautiful dune patterns. Like every single one of these high resolution patches that I zoomed into, I was just like, wow, these are so gorgeous. So there's some others that look like curlicues over more to the east. We're just going to come in on this patch. So these patches are, this is high-rise data from, again, one of the orbiters, and I forget which, I want to say MRO, but it might be Odyssey. It's probably Odyssey. One that's been up there forever and is taking super, super high res. When I say super high res, what I mean is 30 centimeter resolution. 30 centimeters. So if your cat was on Mars, it would be able to see your cat, unless it's like a kitten, then maybe not. But yeah, most cats would show up at 30 centimeter resolution. So yeah, these are some of the interesting dunes that were found in Herschel crater. We're just gonna come right down in here and kind of plow over them. So Mars has dunes, Mars has weather, Mars has weathering because it has an atmosphere. It doesn't have rain, it doesn't have the water cycle that we have here on Earth, but it has seasons. It's actually just now spring in the northern hemisphere. So Mars just had an equinox a few days ago. Congrats, Mars. Mars is coming up next month, so looking forward to that. And I just realized I still need to turn on one of the height maps. So the high-rise data has it has these high-resolution maps as well as height maps, which will be really handy when we try to go climb our mountains. Oh wow, that's pretty. But yeah, so if you enact both of them, if they're stitched together, then we can just kind of fly over these really bizarre, I know you almost even can't even see the bizarre features anymore. Um, but just these really cool formations. Um, the dunes in Herschel, we think are a little bit different. I don't know if they've found any more since then. They found these a while back, uh, over 10 years ago now, I think. So I can't imagine that they haven't found others like this. So most of the dunes, or at least a lot of the other dunes that they found on Mars, are actually drifting because of the winds, because that's what dunes do in the wind. So there's there's rocks, there's little bits of sand, and there's moving air, so the sand gets blasted around, and dunes shift, and there's actual like cute little gifs of that you can find online. Um, but some of these dunes actually seem to have solidified. They've like cemented. Um, Not sure why. I mean, the main thing that I think of when I think of cementing sand is, water. Water does that. That's how we get like sandstone. It's like some of these sedimentary rocks on Earth. But yeah, so some like harder features here in Herschel crater. So I just thought these were just really intriguing shapes. I might just pop over. Gosh, look at that. I mean, they're like shark scales or something. Like if you've seen shark scales up close under like a scanning electron microscope, like I know Brian has because we've had pictures of those at work. Um, then it's just, I don't know, they're just gorgeous. So I do just want to pop on over to the other set of dunes just so you can see from like high up because my connection seems to be going really well right now and like not crashing. So if we can even just see um, a bit of it from up here. And then again, if you have open space, you can always load open space. Highly recommend it. It's free and fun for everyone. I think it was in here. I mean, you can already see there's really cool stuff happening over in this one. But I think it was this one that I charged into first. And already it was just like mind boggling. Okay, this isn't looking as mind boggling. May have been a different mind boggling one. Oh yeah, no, this one. It looks like script. Like someone just took a etch of something and started scribbling on Mars. Like made by your friendly neighborhood Mars maker, right? I mean, tell me that doesn't look like script. It's not aliens. It's never aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm just saying, isn't that funky? Aren't those some lovely dunes? Wouldn't you want to like, go hiking over them or I don't know. You know what they should do? We should get like a helicopter to fly over it. Oh wait. I was actually thinking that earlier when I was previewing some mountains and things of like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if we get like aerial views? Oh wait, we already have well, 8 things orbiting Mars and a helicopter on the way. So, um, I guess I can stop complaining about not having enough cool things to look at on Mars. Okay. So those were some dunes. Um, no water. It's not a beach. So there's lots and lots of water on Mars. There's lots of water all over the solar system. Our solar system is chock full of water. There's like no shortage of water. What's rare is liquid water on a planet's surface, and I'm rotating the wrong way. Liquid water that isn't ridiculously highly saline on a planetary surface. So that's harder to come by. So as we pop around here, see what we have time for in, oh my goodness, so many canyons to explore. Just gonna pop through time a little bit. And I think I need to go forward in time this time. We'll try that. Yeah, forward in time. Maybe a little faster. It might break something with all this all this data loaded in here. But yeah, so in Mars news, yes, it's spring. ExoMars. ExoMars, I was gonna say it was the most recent addition, but there were two that just arrived in the last 2 days. So previous to this week, ExoMars was the newest addition to the collection of orbiters orbiting Mars. It's kind of like an astrobiology mission. It was supposed to have a lander that didn't go so well, but ExoMars has been in the news the last few days for detecting water vapor, I guess, escaping from Mars, and isn't that exciting? So they're also looking for other biomarkers, the methane and the whatnot. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Um, yeah, Tianwen-1 is now at Mars, plans to be landing Utopia Planitia maybe in May. So they're going to orbit around a bit. That's exciting because first, first Mars mission from China. So it's always super exciting when we get um, just a new nation kind of joining us at another planet. So that's really, really exciting. And China's just going all out. So there's an orbiter now, and then they'll have a lander and a rover. So, oh yeah. And then the day before, was that, no, 2 days ago? I can't even keep track. I think it was Tuesday. The UAE's Hope reached orbit. So basically, two new orbiters from two new countries. Um, yeah, so Mars really is all the rage these days. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So coming into kind of, I guess it's not that far east, almost midway, maybe even, in Valles Marineris, this kind of little northern bit. I don't know too many of the chasms, but I know this one's Capri Chasm. Um, and just coming down on what I thought looked pretty cool. I mean, all of these spots, all of these bits of insight that have been loaded in are pretty amazing. Um, but this one I thought was really cool. I don't know. See if you see anything that piques your interest in here. I don't know. Rocks, sand, something flowing. Um, there's a lot of these regions along here, along the kind of edges of the Valles Marineris, have like landslides that we've been able to detect and kind of track through. So again, just kind of exciting to see Earth-like things happening on this other planet. Um, so just coming down, oh golly, into into the chasm and just kind of pull out of there. We still have time on. Looks like I let time go a little too far and the sun is setting. So maybe we'll go chase the sun to the west. Yeah, sun setting over there. So a super fun thing to do is just kind of like fly through the canyon. um, if you can. So yeah, if you've ever hiked through the Grand Canyon, yeah, that's not such a dry riverbed in the Grand Canyon, but yeah, it looked like a dry riverbed, as Chris was saying in the comments, like a dry riverbed, like something's been flowing there at some point. Very exciting. Um, so here we have, I don't know if this is like kind of dusk here, actually. Um, in this huge, wide, deep canyon, this huge gash that just cuts across the planet. So we might fly over some of these regions of just more resolution. Um, I think I'm just kind of encouraging everyone to download Open Space. If you have a machine that can cut it, like do it. It's so worth it to be able to just fly around here. I've never tried flying through here at sunset, and right now it's not seeming like such a great idea because it's just like everything's kind of lost in the glare. So maybe I'll try to, I don't know, rewind time a bit. Bring the sun back a little higher so that we're not so glared here. Um, but yeah, I mean the whole canyon, that's like basically the distance from like New York to LA. or from LA to New York if you want to go the other way. So we could spend all night in here. If actually could spend, yeah, probably a whole week just exploring some of the patches in here that we have in our 30 centimeter resolution, along with their height maps that take us all over the place. Um, so the oh my goodness. So I'm gonna pull out just a little bit as we kind of skim over here along the bulk of this gash through the planet. See if there was, yeah, no, that was about it. Oh, so in the next week, actually, I was planning to do, um, another mission of the month. Too many missions, really, to to pick just one. But we'll see. It's the landing day next week for for Perseverance. So I might try to cover that, or I might just, I don't know. We'll pick another Marsy thing. Maybe one of the orbiters again. But yeah. All right. So we're gonna come up out of here. Um, and now I'm wondering if I'm going to have access to the uh, the last stop that I wanted to make tonight. So even zooming along here, it's like we've barely we've barely made it through part of the Valles Verdaderos. Pretty sure, yeah, I'm still going in the right direction. So after off the western end of the Valles Marineris, there's this Tharsis region. Actually, if we stay a little bit lower, you can start to see um, these kind of mounds rising on the horizon. Um, so Arisa, um, Pavonis, and Pavonis, something like that. Ascraeus. Ascraeus is where we're headed for tonight. Ascraeus is the northernmost. And then even here, like off on our horizon, that next big mound, you can probably guess what that is. We're not gonna go there, but we're gonna we're just gonna topple in and climb a little bit of Ascraeus. Ascraeus is the tallest of the three in the Tharsis region. Um, of course, the taller and even taller, um, oops, mountain is further off to the west, Olympus Mons. Um, but Scraeus up here has, I think, one of the more interesting looking caldera systems on top of it. So that's why I wanted to poke around Ascraeus a bit. So these are all shield volcanoes. Mars isn't currently volcanically active. So we say, yeah, there's this kind of volcanic region, this region of where there's volcanoes, but not active. And again, since they were once active shield volcanoes, that was more effusive than explosive. So just kind of oozing out like what you get in Hawaii. Actually, they were saying that some of the lava up here is like the lava in Hawaii, the the more jagged lava that's coming out there. Pretty sure we got up to the right spot here. So I'm gonna come on up. Wasn't too much of a climb, but just kind of enjoying this big, gorgeous set of calderas. So all these huge craters at the top of our volcano. It's not so much a caldera, but like a caldera system. Not quite as extensive as what you have on Olympus Mons, but still, I thought, worth poking around. There was this one bit over here where it seemed like part of the wall had partly caved in or something, did like its own little mini landslide, and I just realized I left time on too long again. So we're all the way back to sunrise. You need to just stop time, not have time going at all, so we can just play in here all day and not even notice. So, also similar to Olympus Mons, like these are pretty high altitude. So one of the oddities, I'll say, of open space is that it almost looks like you can see the stars during the day on Mars. And that's actually going to be true for some of these high altitude um, volcanic tops, the tops of these super, super high mountains. Not really down on the level, but definitely at the top of Olympus Mons, you'd be able to see some stars during the day because it's basically sticking up out of the atmosphere. So maybe not so many of these stars during the day um, on on Ascraeus, but still quite a view. And we get get a little bit more light on the subject, so we can see just some of the features in there. So you know what? I'll just let that kind of roll. Maybe settle on over, slide over to one of these. Oh, wow. These little bits where you have like all the rocks tumbling down. I don't know if the weather's like up here. If it's calm inside the caldera, if you get like little swirly windstorms in there like you do all over other parts of Mars. Anywho, I feel a lot more relaxed now. Hope you do too. Hope you've enjoyed our little hike around Mars, or like this is more of a stroll than I normally do. Normally, this is a little bit more structured and a lot less rambling, a little more informative. But I just really needed to relax, and I was pretty excited about everything happening on Mars. And I hope other people are excited about what's happening on Mars too. So thanks for joining me. Thanks to the awesome visuals that we have, Stellarium from stellarium.org and Open Space from openspaceproject.com. Again, I'm Irene Pease, your friendly neighborhood astronomer, here just to take you on a Thursday evening stroll around your celestial neighborhood. Thanks so much for joining me. Be safe out there, clear skies, and don't forget to wear a mask.